we did this deep dive on package CDP versus composable CDP. But the composability route isn't the best solution for everyone. Like traditional platforms are totally fine for
Yep.
some situations. Plenty of companies have invested heavily in CDPs and in traditional BI, and they're doing okay. Do you think these investments in traditional BI and CDPs were misguided, and the fact that they're doing okay isn't a reflection of like their decisions were the right ones? Is there a path to integration there? Like, what are your thoughts?
I believe that the current technologies, the current CDPs and let's say even product analytics, having their own storage layer inbuilt, it totally makes sense for the majority of the companies, essentially. I believe in what I see, it is probably less and less. Let's say that like the companies that should switch to a warehouse native approach are more and more of these. We see more and more of these, I
Okay.
believe. Um, One, because there's much more data now than let's say 2 years ago. And this data lake and all these approaches, like I think it makes it possible to run a company from the get-go on top of the like a data lake. The the But I think it's like these traditional approaches are very good when you like in the early stage, and you
Okay.
can like keep it running. You don't need to hire a person. Like that's true for this warehouse native and this warehouse approach is that you will need to have at least one person in the team that knows what he's doing.
Yeah, yeah. The one person data
One
team.
person, and in fact, it's interesting. Like I would say, most of our customers is like have a very small data team.
Hmm,
Yeah. So
very
if
interesting.
we have some that doesn't have any data team, like zero people, essentially the data, they run like BigQuery. We help them,
Yeah.
basically, we give them advice what to do.
Okay.
It's not a consultancy what we do, but like we just send them like a Slack message on or like a Slack connect that this is what you should do. And basically they are enabled just by that. So it's
Okay.
like a backend engineer takes care of the data warehousing. But definitely you need an expert. And I would say it's still hard to come by a good expert that can understand the platform problem, the data analytics problem, marketing use cases, product use cases, all the other use cases, and build a single thing which can support all these use cases.
Hmm.
But there are these folks out in the wild. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. The technical data unicorns, I guess a lot of folks
Yes.
call them. What do you
Yes.
think are like the characteristics of companies where maybe folks are working at some of these companies right now listening? What are the characteristics that you would point out that you would say you guys are good candidates to
Mhm.
explore warehouse native? Because you said a lot of companies early on, for a lot of traditional companies, like traditional tools are fine. They don't need to go warehouse native, but
Yes.
you obviously growing. There's hunger in this space for this kind of data management. What are the characteristics that jump out to you?
This is a great question because it's our go-to-market strategy would be.
Yeah, yeah. Product market fit question.
Exactly. I have to be honest, like it is hard to find
Hmm.
like a common like a segment of companies where this like really makes sense. We have identified a few like typically e-commerce, travel, and all these companies in those segments, like like or media, entertainment, gaming. Just because the sheer volume of data is big,
Right.
for in my head it makes sense to go for this approach. But on the other hand, they really have quite some inbound leads that are not coming from these segments. And what I've found there is typically they have one or two or small data teams, maybe one or two data engineers or a small data team. But they are kind of enthusiastic about this. And so I would say, if you are listening to the podcast and if if you knew about this solution, you might be, like you're aware of this. You are already a good candidate to try it out.
Mm.
While what we have very like the big struggle is to evangelize this, educate people about this. It's an uphill battle. To tell, like, if I go out and talk to companies and like you should switch to this solution because it just makes more sense for you, it's very hard to tell them why.
Hmm.
It's maybe they understand why, but it's like the cost of change is huge, obviously.
Yes.